In January 2003, I'm not ashamed to say I hit my lowest point in my life. I was working as a chef in a job I absolutely hated. I was broke and I hardly had any friends. Now, these three main things contributed obviously very badly to my mental health, and I was suffering from very bad depression at the time. If you do feel stuck in life, I'm going to just talk about what happened to me and how I felt and how I got over it. Now, being in a job you hate, I think, is a massive crux in your life, because you think about how much time you spend at work. If you're in a job that you're not happy in and you're going in every day and you don't like the people you work with, because when I was working as a chef, and it was really hard, it was a stressful environment, and I wasn't really working with nice people. And I came home every day and I was exhausted. I'd been on my feet all day, in a sweaty, horrible kitchen, and I felt awful. Also, I didn't have a lot of money. I was barely, managing to pay my bills and rent, and I was working two jobs, and because the money in catering isn't great, that was a big part, because I didn't have much free time, and I was working all these hours God sent and having nothing to show for it at the end of the month. I couldn't save, and there was no chance in hell I would ever be able to afford, to get my own place. And also not having a good friend network. I was good friends with two people I lived with, but one of them got a boyfriend and within 2 weeks moved out. I never heard from her again. And the other one just started hanging about with like different people, and I wasn't invited anymore, and they'd go out without me and not include me in things. Now, it's horrible when this happens, and I think because with it being January as well, it's quite a depressing month. It's dark, it's cold, and every night I was coming home like tired, not happy, sitting there watching mind numbing TV because I didn't have anyone to go out with. And it was horrible, and I'll never forget that phase of my life, how bad it was, because it's not a place obviously I ever want to go back to. So how I kind of got through it, I wrote a list of things that I wanted to change, and thankfully I was able to move back home with my parents. That saved quite a lot of money, and I was very fortunate I was able to do that, because I know not everyone has that option. And then I looked at changing jobs, and I was determined to get out of catering once and for all. And then I looked at building new friends. I started going out. I sort of joined a few social groups, and I started like just doing activities that I wanted to do, and I just got myself out there. There was a couple of websites where you could join to try and make friends, and that I made quite a few friends off those. So if you do feel down and you are fed up, I totally get it, okay? Because we all go through phases like this in life, and I know what it's like and how hard it can be. But if you do feel like this, try and talk to someone. Get help if you need to. If you think you need counselling, or speak to your doctor, and then just there is light at the end of the tunnel. Life does get better, and when the spring comes and the weather's nicer, that will really boost your mental health. But the main thing is, just don't bottle things up, because I never talked about things. I didn't feel like I could trust anyone, and I was social mental health has got a social stigma attached to it as well, which is obviously like wrong. But I think since COVID, obviously people do talk about their mental health more, and it's not such a big taboo anymore. So if you do feel fed up, guys, you got to remember everyone feels like this from time to time, and it's okay to feel like this, because you will get days where you feel down and life can get overwhelming and you will feel stuck in a rut. But you've just got to keep grinding forward. There's always opportunities. There's always a chance to turn things around. No matter how old you are or where you are in life, believe me, as long as you're still breathing, there's a chance. Things are going to work out. So, if you do feel down, we've all kind of been there at some point. I know what it's like. But please, don't give up. Just please talk about your problems, and look at things you can change. Set yourself small, realistic goals and work towards, transforming your life. Because believe me, it can be done. Trust me, if you've got the will and determination, you can get through anything.